Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Spark of Genius Flesh and Blood production. Little gameplay review replay from the Calling Birmingham round 11. My name is Eric, joined by my co-creator, co-commentator, co-caster, co-compatriot Rob on the right
Hello.
there. This is round 11
Should
between Pablo
be
Pinto
10,
and
right?
Bravo.
Oh, 11. I'm sorry.
It's
I
probably
can't
around
count.
11.
Yeah. They've done 10
Or,
already.
or, or see what it says round 11 on that. So
Doesn't
forget
even say
about
that.
it.
I
Yeah.
added up the 9 and 1. I was like, oh, 10, but no, plus 1. Yeah.
So we have Pablo on 9-1 on Bravo, and Ernesto Silva 8-2 on Lexi. So pretty high on the leaderboard. Probably just the pair down. I can't imagine there's that many X1s this late in the round 11 Swiss, because you have, I think it was it 8 rounds of Swiss into
I think it was 13
five on
total,
day
right?
two.
Yeah,
So eight
that
and
makes
five,
sense.
yeah. So 8 and 5, yeah. So they did 8 and then 9, 10. So this is round 3 of day 2, essentially. So you do have to X2 this event to day 2. So both of these players. So Ernesto looks like he just won three. He's 3-0. It looks like going into the or
Mm,
maybe he was X1 and he went 2-1, something along those lines. Point is that
right.
one more loss, X3. I don't think any X3 is actually top aided. So this is kind of make it or break it for Ernesto, and Pablo's got a little bit of wiggle room here. So Bravo versus uh, Lexi obviously
Lexi.
is going to be post bullseye. So
Right.
going to be rocking the Hornet Sting. I guess we could start the video as we kind of
Yeah.
talk about it and shuffling up
Good
here.
old Hornets.
Um, we can just safely assume Bravo's on regular stuff: Tectonic, Iron Rod,
Iron
Creators,
Rod boots,
Creators
maybe?
Fist, Crown. Iron Rod boots, yes. He's rocking the full armor suite here. He is running the one-handed hammer, the Titan's Fist, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
Buckler. So extra 3 points of armor to its Battle Worn
It's a
2, I
Battle Worn
believe.
2. Yeah, so 3
Battle
armor.
Worn 2, or no, it might be Temper 2. I think it's actually Temper
Oh,
2.
temper. I'm
Just
sorry.
go.
Yeah, it's got
It's
to be
it's three
temper.
armor.
Yeah, yeah.
It's 3 armor. Yeah, it's not bad. I don't think they print Battle Worn
Who
anymore.
would
So it looks
care
like
if you had a
Bravo.
0 blocking shield, I guess?
Yeah. Well, if
Yeah.
you still need to, it would matter for things like,
Oh,
oh man, what's the
buckle.
dash card?
Oh,
No, well,
dash.
but
The
oh
one that
man,
lets you
T-bone,
block with armor.
T-bone, T-bone.
T-bone. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
That's true.
where's the armor, or is it just offhand? I actually don't care.
It's
I think it's offhand
oh, good
equipment. No,
question. I think it says armor,
uh,
but
I think it's offhand equipment, so it'd be fine. So it looks like
yeah.
Pablo just kind of setting up his tectonic plating. Didn't get any crazy crush effects turn one, like it'd be really nice to get a turn 0 spinal, because Ernesto not running the 2 armor on his perch grapplers,
Hmm.
instead electing to run snaps, which is kind of interesting.
Definitely a
But
more
like
aggressive build.
we have to remember that this was kind of before people thought Bravo would come out in force, and before a lot of people figured a lot of fatigue decks would come. We saw a lot of the other Swiss games, like fatigue decks were coming out specifically to hunt down Lexis, right? Like fatigue Bolton, fatigue Axe Dory.
Mm.
Like these decks were specifically coming here to feed on Lexi, and Bravo's kind of not like, he does a better job in general because of all the armor he's got, and giving him room just allows him to swing back with a fat attack that you could have to give him cards to. So Bravo, like, a pretty good choice to try this strategy here. Ernesto is going to start by doing a yellow Bolden shot here.
Hmm.
Probably, I would say, based on his quiver choice and the general fact this is the first event where we're seeing a lot of fatigue decks come around. I'm guessing Ernesto might not be fully prepared, like as far as like the legendary quiver and remembrances and things like
Right.
that, which are like
Would
historically
you wear the
more.
abysmal or the abyssal quiver? I guess to
It
combat
depends.
fatigue a little better.
Depends on my strategy here. So if I think they're gonna fatigue me, like nine times out of 10 here, I'll probably run the quiver if it's in my list, right? Depends on what list I'm bringing, but
That's
assuming
fair.
it's in the list, I'll probably bring that. A remembrance or two. It really depends on like
Yep.
how many fatigue decks I expect going. But I think after this event, people are going to be bringing more of it. We do see the immovable coming out with Pablo blocking for 6 from the
Yeah,
arsenal.
blue
So
immovable. So probably
blue immovable,
runs blues
pretty
at least,
standard
and
though.
I wonder if you run red. Probably not until Lexi.
No,
You
you'd probably
probably
run
wouldn't. Yeah.
the staunches instead
Blue
because it's just more
staunch.
efficient.
Yep.
Yep.
Ah,
See
we
the
see the good old CNC.
the almighty CNC. Pretty sad that it's not a blue to get his seismic back, but he's going to lose the seismic
That's a
because he
good
couldn't
point.
able,
You have to pitch a
wasn't able to trigger it.
starstruck. Yeah.
Mhm. It doesn't really seem like he's going to care about the seismics this game, because it seems like,
Yeah.
I think when it comes to Anothos, it doesn't really make as much sense if you are trying to mainly block out, because really the only things Anothos lets you do more easily is have another source to, like, it comes in for 6 instead of 4, sure, but it gives you better target for Terra Sunder, right? Because you can Terra Sunder for 7
Mm,
dominate instead of 5 dominate with the Titan's Fist.
yep. That's a good
Um,
point.
not super interesting, honestly. It looks like was this oh, he's loading Bolt and Shot. He flipped Heat Seeker on
Mm,
the Lexi side. No cards in hand, so he's just going to looks
yeah.
like fire a double arrow here. But you can see the
Is that a
I believe
red
skeleton in
Bolton?
hand.
Oh, it's a yellow. I'm
No,
sorry. Okay.
it's a yellow
I
bone,
was
but yeah, he
questioning
just
the
loaded
4
in a plus
damage
one.
there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just give it +1.
+1.
So
Built and go again.
I,
Very nice.
I think Ernesto is gonna have a couple options here because he's not built. I don't think he's built for like the super kind of anti-fatigue strategy. It looks like he's just gonna. Oh no, maybe he's just gonna fire the Heat Seeker now. Oh no, he's just gonna leave the Heat Seeker.
Yeah, I was
That's
wondering if he'd do
interesting.
that. It kind of makes sense. You want to save up for bigger turns in general. So just firing it off and then having nothing in arsenal, not the greatest.
No,
Especially with
that's
the
fair.
Rain Razor, I think that I just saw in his hand.
He
It made
just
more
drew. Yeah,
sense.
he did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he didn't know he
You
would
got
draw it,
yeah,
but
that's true. But you
fair.
gotta expect something to come along, I guess. Yeah, but
Hmm.
Bravo, I think already did block a little bit on the Bolton, so it's like
Hmm.
you got something out of his hand. Might as well just keep the Heat Seeker.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how many cards Pablo is running and how many cards Ernesto is running. But in general, I would say Ernesto's strategy, if he doesn't have those remembrances, and he definitely doesn't have that quiver of Abyssal Depths, as we can see that on the
Yep.
field here. Um, he's either gonna have to play for second cycle, so he's gonna have to stack a bunch of his threats, like you stack three of a kind with some good red arrows and a rain razor for like one of those turns later, maybe we'll break through the defenses. Because if he just fires, three arrows a turn, 4 point whatever on average, you could be doing 13 to 14 damage. It's not
Right.
it's the rain razors there, but it's a D-react out of Pablo. It's not really. You're just gonna end up running out of cards.
That's fair.
Really the only way to do that strategy properly is to bring in remembrance to like get those three cards back, and then with like a remembrance and a quiver you can bring back 6 arrows, right? And that's usually enough to either fatigue the Bravo,
Yeah,
right? Because Bravo only has so many blocking cards after armor also, and with the rain razor's turn you can really pump out a lot of
that's
damage here.
true.
But
I mean, there are the codexes which you can also use to get back some
yep,
arrows. That's been helping the fatigue matchup a lot for Lexi to get back
okay.
3 main arrows. That's like it could be 18 damage, right? So it's
Yeah,
you
there
know
is
or
definitely Oh, it looks like Staunch perfectly blocking that 7. Kind of sad.
red
So
staunch. Yeah,
Rain
pretty
Razor's,
good.
yeah, Rain Razor's doing a whole lot of average here. 0 for 4 essentially, which is fine. But like Pablo had the answer, which is a little assess. That's one rain. And the thing with Rain Razors is an instant, so you can't get it back with Remembrance. Even if you were running it, it's just kind of like that one big pop off turn that ideally you want to get 6, if not 8, off 3 to 4 arrows. With snaps, definitely possible, and with the quiver rustling leaves, definitely possible.
Hmm.
Especially if you have a go again arrow. Like the ideal turn here is you have a go again arrow, like
The
razor, razor
Falcon.
wing, falcon wing, or maybe a bolt and shot, and you have rain razors anyways, right? So you could just give it go again. So you have 2 of those arrows, and then you have 2 more arrows in hand, and then you have the quiver. You can actually do the 5 arrow turn, right?
Hmm.
With the nice rain razors and a 3 of a kind.
It's true.
That's the turn that breaks open the game, right? So I think the more of those that Ernesto can adequately set up without Pablo having adequate disruption. So I'm talking about dominated spinal crush. Ernesto can't get over it because he doesn't have the perch grapplers. Because that's the key. The perch grapplers lets you block with 1 card.
Yeah.
Perch grapplers and Horned Sting and block 6 on the dominate. So he doesn't have that. So dominated spinal can end that. You'd have to wait. Crippling crush, obviously, you'd have to probably give him some guards,
Hmm.
unless you. I guess you could not block, discard 2 cards, pray it's not 3 of a kind, use Tunic for 3 of a
Yeah.
kind kind of thing,
You'd
but
probably do it
a
if
little
three
bit
of a kind
risky.
was in arsenal already, maybe. So you
Yeah,
can use
if it
tunic
was an
for three of a
arsenal.
kind, draw back up to 4, right? So you're or even
Mhm.
5, I guess, if you had 2 cards left in hand. So it's pretty
Yeah,
good still.
yeah. It depends if it was dominated, of course, but I think there aren't too many turns where Pablo, unless Ernesto is giving him a ton of space,
Yeah.
there aren't going to be too many turns that looks like Pablo just took the
Exactly.
Morphle straight
And
up.
you don't
So
really care to dominate much anyway, because if you're making
mhm,
Lexi block, you're winning the game, right? So
yeah.
as long as she's blocking your attacks like with 2 or 3 cards, you're pretty happy.
Except for this one crippling crush, he just ignored us. He
There
took
it
damage. So
is.
Pablo actually took damage
And
from
he
Remorseless.
did dominate. Oh, he did. Yeah. So he did take
He did
1 from
dominate.
playing the
Yeah,
crippling and
yeah.
coming in
So
for 11 dominate.
he was that off of seismic? I don't know what he's pitching to have one floating there.
It's got to be. That's a good question because it would have been a 9 even, right? With Bravo plus crippling. So
Exactly. So he must
it
have had
must have been a seismic there.
seismic. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So off the
there's nothing else
seismic,
that
you
would have
can.
given him one more.
Yeah. So Pablo could have blocked with another blue and still had enough for an undominated spinal, but he decided to dominate it to force it through.
Yeah.
Don't know how
Two
much I
Boltons
like
left
that play.
from Pablo's side.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to think whether I'd probably just send over the crippling undominated and just like
Yeah,
block with the card,
that's a good point.
take 3 life
And
because that card's worth
actually,
3 life.
couldn't he have used Tectonic also that turn if he had one floating? Did he maybe
But he
forget?
pitched 3 cards.
He pitched three.
I
So,
actually don't know why he
because
did
you could have
tectonic
just
there.
pitched a blue, Tectonic, and still have your seismic from the previous turn and having exactly enough for
But
Bravo and crippling,
I think he might have just forgot. Honestly, it's not like
possibly. But it's not that
it's not.
crucial anyway. Because even if he
No.
didn't have a seismic on that turn, he still afforded the dominated crippling. So
Yeah.
it's like
You're right though. I actually have no idea why he didn't tectonic beforehand, but I don't think it really matters in the grand scheme of things.
yeah,
Interesting
likely
addition to the
didn't.
Marvel list. The well, not CNC. CNC is not interesting. It's been in there since the dawn of time.
Every deck
So
runs it against Lexi. It's you've gotta.
yeah, but like Bravo specifically, it's quite good. But you see that he pitched that card there. That's the Finals Fighting Spirit Blue. It's been kind of one of
That's
those additions to the
interesting.
Bravo deck. And I think the main idea is essentially for the life gain. So you're able to block like a five power arrow with a 3 block and a 2 block and gain a life. Whereas usually what Bravo would be doing is blocking with a 3 block and a 2 block armor, right? Or 2 3 block cards or something like that, or pitch for like a blue unmovable. Either way, you're giving up 2 cards. So in this way, you give up 2 cards, but you gain a life. I think that's the general
Okay.
strategy with using that card. It's generally to block those like 5 breakpoints, or I guess on a 4 block arrow, you could block with 2 of them if you had them and gain life. However, if Ernesto just keeps taking damage, you're never gonna get into never gonna get into life off that. So
It's true.
Pablo, it's ending. Interesting, Ernesto, 3 of a kinding off the tunic.
This is after the crippling
Um,
crush, right? So this is after the CNC. I'm
This is
sorry.
this
Yeah.
is after the CNC, yeah, because he did give him cards and he did that strategy. We kind of like he had the 3 of a kind, so
Yeah.
he's gonna use it off the tunic. See what he could do off this. He doesn't have any like rain razors or anything like that. He wouldn't be able to play it almost from Arsenal regardless. However,
Right. He does have a. Oh, it's a
infecting shot searing. I think it's infecting shot searing
infecting
shot.
shot searing. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I
So I
don't.
mean, you can
Yeah,
still Voltaire once. You do have to pitch the searing or the infecting shot to fire it. So this is a full resource
probably
play. You got to
just
put everything out there for one more arrow, and then to finish it off with your
I love yeah, I love
with the
searing
last
shot.
arrow in
Use the
Arsenal.
last. Yeah, just he's gonna keep the infecting shot in
Okay.
Arsenal. Just fire off a 3 arrow turn. So it's gonna be a 5/4/4, which
Okay.
is 13
No, I
damage.
like that. I like keeping the one card behind and not going with for one more damage plus a potential blood rot. This kind of
Yeah,
makes more sense to me.
yeah. I mean, Pablo has armor. He's starting to use it here, so we can see kind of midpoint in the game, or the midpoint as far as the life total, getting towards like the low mid 20s. Pablo's starting to use armor a little bit more aggressively, but he double sigils, so it's not the midpoint for him anymore. He's going up to
Yeah,
33.
yeah.
It's actually an
Ideally,
interesting
you
card.
want to use armor to be able to pivot onto like a really nice spinal or something. But then he
Mm.
just didn't really have the option to block out
Like
because of the two
those
sigils,
cards don't
right?
block. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
that card doesn't
exactly.
block. So
Here we
we
see
see Ernesto here
Ernesto.
with a glorious beard
Very
here,
nice beard.
thinking about his life decisions, slamming down not remorseless, premeditate.
Premeditate. Yeah.
Uh, it's interesting the premeditate. He's gonna come out with Heat Seeker. It's probably one of my favorite combos because you get the on hit ponder and you have the Heat
Hmm.
Seeker on trigger, so you essentially get 2 cards in your arsenal, or
Yeah.
maximum 2. Like you don't have to arsenal the ponder, but like with the snaps up this early, it's pretty easy to do it. Now, interesting thing about premeditate, I think it's got less and less of a use case in the newer Lexi decks because of
Mhm.
the lack of racing potential with Bullseye Bracers, and because of how poorly it runs with Warmonger's diplomacy. Because if you
Mm,
arsenal that premeditate, it's dead in the water unless you have like trench or something to get
mm.
it out. So you see different Lexi decks trying to get around that by either running trench or just running less premeditates or running other cards to get around it. Art of War,
That's
Lightning Press,
interesting.
another card
Yeah.
to get around it. Being able to, if they warmongers you, you can still fire an arrow with a press, you could still hit them for 8. And if you have an on hit
Right.
on that arrow, like infecting shot, it could be 10. So it's kind of like a way to make sure your turn isn't just a time walk and you're just actually still doing something.
Right.
Um,
Right.
because I have the double deer, and we do see Pablo is running the Warmongers, as seen by the pitch
The
here.
pitch. Yeah. Yeah. So essentially,
This is
Lexi would pick attack action cards and then be able to use
yeah,
Voltaire still and be able to use Lightning Press still because they're instant abilities.
yeah. I still think this is a pretty reasonable turn because he did get a nice big chunk of Pablo's armor there. He got the crown.
Mm.
Pablo has no buckler left. He's really got 2 armor left, which it's not too bad. You're 20 health. You've got a bit of a buffer, and then Pablo's got no arsenal. If you're able to like string together a couple like
Mm.
ponder turns or like arsenal net positive turns where you like attack at the ponder and you're able to like get a couple of those effects and get a nice 6 card hand uninterrupted. I think you can pretty easily. It's like one good turn away from actually tipping this game on its head, which I have
I think so.
seen in
Yeah.
this matchup
It's
a fair
unfortunate
amount.
that Ernesto did pitch away 2 codexes already. So the codex
You
would
did.
be, a good way to get that ponder token, right? Premeditate's
It
another
would.
option, but you'd have to hit,
You
unfortunately.
do have to hit.
Yeah.
I think he is saving those pitching endless arrow too. He is doing a bit of that second cycle stacking here. He does want to have some threats for later in the game when obviously Bravo is a little bit more susceptible to on hits because with only 2 armor left, and if he's going to be using these D reacts, you see the staunch response in hand, but he's going to be
Hmm.
using these D reacts more and more because Bravo doesn't necessarily want to see those second cycle into a deck like Lexi.
Yeah.
Because you really don't know when it's coming. Because Lexi can draw so much faster than you can with 3 of a kind, possibly Artivore,
Hmm.
Ponders, Heat Seeker. So they're going through their deck faster. So if you're Bravo, it's very very hard to try to predict when they're going to go off and like draw a D react on a turn. It's nigh
Yeah.
impossible,
They,
honestly.
they can go
So
off anytime.
Pab-
Anytime is
yeah,
the right time.
So Pablo's gonna like want to run those almost immediately. It looks like he took a little bit of
Took
damage
a
from the
like 2 damage
Merciless.
from that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bravo doesn't really care too much about the remorseless ability because usually he just plays 1 action
sure.
card per turn. Unlike, go wide decks, which would really take a lot of damage from it. So here we see the Warmongers. Here's
The
the
Warmongers.
first one.
Diplomacy. I wasn't going to call it. Well, he pitched with 1, so
He
that's
pitched
going to be
one
the second
away,
we
so this
see.
is
It's
the
probably
second one we see.
probably safe to say he's running 3 here. So Ernesto
Yeah.
reading the card. Hopefully he's familiar with it. I'm not actually sure how long this event was after. I think it was at least 3 weeks, 2 or 3
Right.
weeks after release. So he should know about this card.
That's true. Although a lot of people are probably seeing it for the first time, just in
Sure.
general, but so I guess attack action is the play, right? Oh, interesting. No, he's flipping. Okay, so
Can't
he must
Lexi.
have picked.
No,
Oh,
he
you
picked
can't.
War. He
You
just
can't,
flip.
Lexi. Yeah, Pablo reminded him there. Yeah, okay. So he did pick war,
Oh,
which is
he's
unfortunate
screwed.
because he can't play any arrows in Arsenal now. So
It's not unfortunate. It's you're screwed.
well,
Your time walked. Yeah, there it is. He's passing the turn. Oh, that's tragic. Yeah, that beard's not gonna save you, sir. That's and it is
yeah.
this is what I was saying with those non-attacks. Remember when I was mentioning the premeditate? Like in
Mm,
this situation, if you have a non-attack and they warmongers you and you don't have trench, you have no way of getting that arsenal card out of there.
yeah. So I
Um,
wonder if picking war was just a misplay because you didn't realize that Lexi could not be activated. So do you maybe
it
pick?
doesn't
No,
it doesn't
it
matter
won't
though,
matter
because
though. Yeah,
when
but
you
at
play
least
it, you get
but at least
you
you can
get an
Arsenal one
arrow.
extra card. You can Lexi flip and then pass and draw an Arsenal, then draw an extra card, right?
No, the codex has it face down, sir. Like you
But
can
if
flip
you
it, yeah, but
but if
like
you
you can't
Lexi
actually
flip it,
fire it.
no, but you get one extra Arsenal slot,
Ye-
right?
Yeah, but then you also have to discard a card. I don't know. It feels like a
Well,
hell
you
of a
don't
bit.
play
You're
it.
wasting.
I'm just saying you flip it face up, pass your turn, Arsenal something, draw 1 card. So instead
I
of having
don't. I
5 cards, you have 6.
don't know if like this is a matchup where you could waste codex like that though, because as you said, it's like it gets you the ponder, it gets you the extra card. And here you're getting the ponder with for nothing because you already have a bunch of cards anyways. So it looks like Ernesto took that choke slam to the face. Is going to be firing off a
So no
good
more
old
buffs.
hamstring shot.
Yeah, Bravo solidly in the lead right now. Just a few really good disruptive cards, between him and winning the game, I
Warmonger's
think.
diplomacy, yeah.
Yeah,
Warmonger's
that was
diplomacy being the
pretty
most
good.
disruptive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane because, yeah, like you said, he was pretty much locked in place. There was nothing that he could do.
Yeah, Ernesto's still in it. Like he's still got, I think, two three of a kinds. He still has at least two rain razors, I
Yep.
think. So still very much in it. Like 30 health is. It looks like a lot, but
It
we've
can
seen
go
at
down
least
quickly.
we've seen two sigils used. There's only two armor left here. Ernesto still has quiver. He still has snaps. There's still stuff to be done here.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't say it's over yet,
I
but
agree.
definitely looks worse than it is. So Ernesto going to be getting that six card hand here. Going to keep the codex, which I think is fine. You can wait for it, especially on multiple red, like poor resource turns where you have to be pitching a lot of reds to do your turn.
Hmm.
The codex is free and it gets you a zero cost arrow. So that's kind of where it shines, where you might not have enough cards pitched to like have one left in hand. Whereas
Yep.
codex is actually fine with that because it doesn't want you to have a hand when you play it.
Exactly.
Generally, get the
You're
most
fine
advantage.
pitching the red cards to be able to codex for free, essentially.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good trade off.
Oh, looks like Pablo just passed. I don't think he even had any cards left, but he
Mm,
just, or he might have Arsenal
one
passed or
card
something
in
like that.
Arsenal, yeah. So we're seeing the Rain
Yeah,
Razor. I think we're seeing
Lightning
there's an
Press too.
infecting Lightning Press too. So this is a pretty fat turn. Depending on the Arsenal, it likely, actually, it probably wouldn't be an arrow. I'm wondering because you can't really give it go again.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Is he pitching Rain Razors to three of a kind? Why wouldn't you just play the Rain Razors?
That's a
Okay, we
very
might
good
have to
question.
we might have to
Oh,
replay
he
this
had a
turn.
second one. Okay. I mean, this is a
So what?
big turn, right? But
You just play two Rain
play
Razors.
both. Yeah. Um,
That's what you need at this point,
he had
no?
Lightning Press. He had Infecting Shot, both red cards. I think he just wanted the extra pitch.
Pitch
Although
the pitch the Lightning Press. You can't
I
play it anyways.
that's a very good point. You can't play it anyways. That's
We might
probably
have
what you should have done. Yeah. Yeah.
we might want to replay this turn later to see what could have been here. But we do see the
Yeah.
pitch for the Rain Razors, three of a kind, from Arsenal, and we see a Heat Seeker. He did draw a bunch of cards. He still has that Lightning Press in hand. He does have the Codex, so it's still going to be a big turn. But
Hmm.
I am actually
Could have
just
been
curious
6
on what.
damage bigger, or maybe 8 damage bigger if he used the Snapdragons here.
Well, we could take a look later and see if it would have made a big difference here.
Yep.
But we do see he did draw into Winter's Bite, so he does have enough pitch to play out
Yeah.
that infecting shot. He's
Hmm.
probably going to have enough to play out his quiver too. So
Yeah.
he's going to be maximized on this turn because he had that quiver of Rusting Leaves and not on the quiver of Abyssal Depths here. So
Hmm.
he's going to be playing that infecting shot one for
Yep.
five. It
Go
is a one
again.
for seven.
Likely. Yeah. One could have been 1 for 9.
I mean, Heat Seeker could have been one for nine also, but
Could have. Yeah.
it's life.
Yeah. I wonder.
Which is interesting because we're in a good position that we actually see Pablo's full hand, so we can try to predict his blocks here and see how much of this actually would have went through. Because so far he was able to block seven perfectly because he had Fate Foreseen.
Yeah.
But he's going to be taking four off this infecting shot because he does not have Fate Foreseen anymore.
Nope.
Getting that Blood Rot Pox token,
Hmm.
and I'm assuming it's going to be pitch the Lightning Press, pitch the Winter's Bite, play the Quiver, get an arrow, pray for an arrow,
Yep. And then play the
and then
Codex, get another
yeah.
arrow.
Yep.
You would need to take a Bolton shot, I guess, for the go again.
That is a great quiver right there. Holy moly. Getting the endless
Uh,
arrow.
oh, firing endless.
Yeah, he has snaps.
He'll snap it. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a good
He
point.
has snaps. If he lets it hit. Oh, it's a shame he doesn't. Well, yeah, if he had another if he had another Voltaire trigger, he could just like fire it again. But that would be asking for too much there. That would
Yeah.
be essentially you start with like multiple arrows in your arsenal here, which he didn't, right? So
Yeah.
because he had our Rain Razors in arsenal, I believe. So this is interesting. Pablo with only one card left in hand. You can see like this turn is still pretty fat. And it's kind of what I mentioned. The turn, like you're gonna need to push through all of these defenses. So it looks like he pitched and played something. I'm assuming that's a D-react coming from Russell, but all we get to look at is Pablo's face at the moment. Oh, it's staunch response. Okay,
It
so it
was
is staunch for
staunch.
6. Yep. Looks like we do
Snaps
see the
was
snaps.
was broken there.
Snaps is used.
So
Yes. He
yeah,
did get a
I
1 cost
mean,
here.
I wonder. I'm kind of wondering why you wouldn't kind of. Oh well, I was thinking that you would Codex first and then get a Bolton shot and fire that with automatic go again. But at least this way, now he can pick any arrow he wants. And it didn't have to be a Bolton shot, right? So you can take an infecting shot for an extra blood rot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Infected Shell definitely the correct play here.
Yeah.
Like it is the best arrow because you're gonna get double blood rot here, right?
Yeah, we know that Pablo's not going to pitch anything for them, so it's a guaranteed 2 damage.
Yeah.
So I guess
Pablo's taking an
9.
extra 4 there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is for 9.
So that's the comeback turn, right? We're already kind of seeing a similar life total now.
It's the equalizer. He had to use snaps. He did have to use quiver.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Pablo able to sit on multiple D reacts because he had staunch in the arsenal. He did have fate in hand, so Pablo
Yeah.
was able to stem a lot of the bleeding. It could have been really bad if Pablo didn't have those and he let the
Mhm.
endless arrow hit. And Ernesto gets to keep the endless arrow.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it doesn't matter because he has codex anyways, so he's gonna probably codex it away for something because he's gonna want
Staunch,
to ponder.
staunch blocks for 7, right? The red
Yeah,
staunch.
staunch blast for 7. Yep.
So if there was a second Rain Razor play,
It
that would have
wouldn't
come in
have
for
blocked.
8.
Yeah, can't
Could
block that one.
Yeah. So I
Yep.
think it would have been more than 8 damage from, or I
Whoa.
guess 6.
Hold
Was it
on,
8?
we got a second 3 of a kind. All right, this
We're
man's
cooking.
chilling.
Yeah, we're cooking.
Okay,
So we'll see
that's
what happens
interesting.
here. Oh, very very nice card to get with this. So you can give it +1. Has a go again built in, coming in for
You think
4.
so? I actually really don't like Falcon Wing unless it's already in my arsenal when I play 3 of a kind because I really don't want to be loading that, wasting a
Okay.
Voltaire trigger. I want that to already be in my arsenal.
Yeah, that's a good point because you can go extra wide if it was already there. But I do like the fact that you can give it +1 and have it have go again, which is similar to
Yep.
bolt and shot. I guess it's basically a bolt and shot.
It is, but if your hand is so big anyways, you really want those 1 cost on hit arrows, like infecting shots,
Yeah,
heat seekers, things like that, that allow you to like go a little bit wider because you have so much pitch anyways. Because he had a blue searing shot in the pitch there. He
right.
does have an infecting shot. Now
That's
he's
true.
sitting on like three arrows in hand,
Yeah, that's a
which
good point. Yeah. At least he can go 3 arrows wide. but yeah, you're right. You would definitely want to just pick the go again and have really higher value arrows to fire with your Voltaire. I just
but
like having the built-in go again. Feels nice. But it's way better if you can finish off with it and then you can maybe load something else after, or if you have it in arsenal, at least you don't have to waste your Voltaire, which is
yeah,
pretty nice.
I mean, okay. So here's my issue with this turn. So he's gonna sit there. He's gonna arsenal a card, and Pablo's just gonna swing CNC at him. So he's gonna lose either 2 cards or his arsenal. So there is no setup potential at all, right?
Mm, right.
I
What did he fire this turn? There was the Falcon Wing
Falcon
into.
infecting.
It was 2 Falcons? Okay. Yeah.
I don't think. I think you need to wait on that last because that's his last 3 of a kind. I think you need to wait and
Mm,
like get a better 3 of a kind turn. So here it's like any kind of setup you would have had is gone regardless, unless you want to give him 2 cards. Now, if you would have kept the 3 of a kind and just like load, take some cards out, he still CNCs you. Nothing really changes. Maybe like Pablo had one more card in hand, he just arsenals it instead if you didn't
right.
fire another arrow. But it's just like, well, then you just block with 2 cards and you still have a 3 of a kind, right? And I think his tunic looks like it might have been on 3 at that point too.
Yeah.
So
Right
you'd
now
be
it's
able
on
to just
2, as far
yeah.
as
But
I
by
can
the
see.
time he would have by the time he would have actually 3 of a kind this turn, like it would have
Right.
been his upcoming turn right now, he would have been 3 of a kind
Yep.
with a 2 card with a probably a 2 card because all he needs to do is just arsenal and not fire the infecting shot, and then he would have had infecting shot, um, and then fire and then play the 3 of a kind. But now he
Right.
doesn't have 3 of a kind, and he only has 3
Yeah.
cards. Just by infecting and whatever that is in his arsenal. So yeah, see, he is on 3 now. So now he would have been able to like play that 3 of a kind and still had a pretty decent turn.
That's
Whereas
true.
now he's kind of just stuck on. Oh, he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a little bit awkward.
Yeah, giving Bravo full control now. That is a crippling. Ouch. Yeah, you don't really want to give Bravo this agency to be able to play out these big cards because A, you're low life total, and B, they're likely going to be disruptive. So you're going to be blocking regardless, I think. And without that 3 of a kind, there isn't much. Well, 3 of a kind and Rain Razor, because I think he played 2 Rains and he has 1 left in
He
deck.
pitched one. Yeah, he pitched that one.
Yeah, so it's very hard right now to comb together something that can be effective when faced with these disruptive cards.
Hmm. No, that's true. I think. Yeah, he's gonna have to give him 3 cards or the whole hand here. I don't really know which one's worse. I'd probably just give him the whole hand to be honest with you, because he doesn't even have an arrow. It's a premeditated Winter's Bite in his arsenal.
In
So
Arsenal, yeah, so you can just play the
that's
Winter's Bite, or well,
well.
keep one card in hand, play Winter's Bite,
I
Arsenal that
think you
last
need
card.
to. I think you need to keep Winter's. I think you need to just ship the hand because Winter's Bite is really good in this matchup by stripping a card.
Hmm.
So like unless he's specifically, because even if he has like staunch and you strip a card, and he
Okay.
pitches like a blue and he has 2 floating, he has a frostbite, meaning he can't use those 2 floating
Mm.
for staunch. He needs another card to pay for staunch. So it makes it very awkward. Like he can use the pitch to pay for like fate or sink or whatever, but for cards like Staunch, he isn't able to just like use that two floating to
Yep.
still block. That's the really nice thing. And
So use it
being able to take a
offensively.
card out, you need to be able to use it offensively. You need to play it out on the turn you're going wide. And he does have the premeditate, so being able to +3 a bolt and shot,
Mm,
so you could flip Winter's Bite, play premeditate, load a bolt and shot, and then you have an empty arsenal for a reload. You could potentially get a nice 3 to 4 arrow hand, depending if you have like bolt and shot or something. Sorry, not bolt and shot. Depending on what you reload with bolt and shot, like if
mm,
it's something with go again, it's also nice. But here you could just Lexi flip and just fire 2 more arrows off like Tunic or something like that, right? So that's like without the Rain Razors, or if he draws it or whatever, that's the kind of turn he needs, right? He needs
mm-hmm.
a buff. He needs Pablo to be on like 3 defending cards. Like he
Right.
needs all of it to get around this, because otherwise
Yeah.
you're just gonna get bled dry. Because again, only one Rain Razor and no three of a kind left is a bit of an awkward scenario to be in. And the Quiver choice is turning up to his game plan. It ended up working because he has such a fat turn. But if he had that Abyssal Depths, Remembrance going for like a slower game plan of just literally firing a shit ton of arrows at him
Mm-hmm.
and just like taking his cards is like whatever, right?
Yeah.
You as the Lexi, you could just be like, I'm just gonna take all your cards. It's not because
Yeah.
Bravo can't really run. Remember, well, you can, but it's very difficult to run Remembrance. Having a no block card in your deck when Lexi's just
Yeah.
firing at you is just really, really sus, right?
It's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So it looks like
I saw a spinal in hand. Very nice. So following up a very nice crippling turn with a spinal turn, I think, is the dream.
yeah, Ernesto did end up keeping the Codex, so he is going to be codexing a 0 cost after playing the Winter's or a
Okay.
1 cost off Tunic. He does have Tunic
He
up.
does have it up.
Um,
Yep.
and it's not like you're drawing 3 of a kind anymore, so you might want to just get
Yeah.
the one power.
Just get that
Um,
infecting shot or something.
I don't even think it matters at this point if you get a 0 or a 1. Because he's gonna have a full hand regardless. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's probably just gonna hit you with the hammer regardless. So I don't really know if it would be
Yep.
super benefit. I guess you could grab if you really wanted to take Pablo's hand, what you do is you grab Heat Seeker and you just premeditate Heat Seeker and be like, you have to block this, or I just get 2 cards, right?
Right. Yeah.
That could be what he's
Exactly.
going
That's
for.
probably one of the better on hits in the deck to be able to
The
get something
awkward
back.
thing is premeditate getting a ponder and then Codex getting a ponder. It's like you're losing
Yeah.
your
That is a
efficiency
bit
there.
awkward. Yeah.
But Heat Seeker is definitely one of those cards you can get. He could get Endless also. But
Yep.
without the snaps, it's a little bit weirder because if he gets so he can premeditate if he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it looks like he's gonna do it because what he could have done is he could have just arsenaled the like he could have well yeah I actually don't know what the more ideal play is to rather get the 1 cost or the 0 cost here.
Yeah. On the one hand, you want to keep your tunic, but Pablo does have a sink in hand, and he has 1 pip of armor left on his tectonic and on his crater fist. So he's pretty okay blocking anything that Lexi can throw at him. It is going to be the Heat Seeker, which is it's nice
Yeah.
for reloading your arsenal. I think this is probably the right play.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mentioned before, where it's like this is the one arrow where it's like you're not gonna really want to keep
No, because you can
two
chain
cards
together
in arsenal.
cards from turn to turn, so you can play everything and then get something back. Although there will be 2 ponder tokens on this, so it's kind of like how many cards can you realistically get and not be um, you know, overdoing it a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. I think he was able to also prevent like another hammer coming at him because he had to
Mm,
pitch the frostbite for the sink below.
right.
But
So CNC in hand.
um,
So again, having a
CNC in
disruptive
hand.
option into Lexi. If Lexi can let him keep 2 cards, then he'll be looking pretty good.
How does Ernesto win? I guess he wins off his last Raid Razor. I think that's like his win con
Mm.
at this point.
Yeah, he wins off Hornet's sting. That
Horn
one damage.
still the man still has armor.
Hmm.
Is a thing. Um,
That is true. Holding on to armor still, that is impressive. Although he hasn't really had
I
a very good opportunity to use it.
yeah. When would he actually use it? Yeah, that's the key here.
Yeah, yeah. You'd probably want to save it for Rain Razor, not Rain Razor, a Endless Arrow for 4, right? So block with 1 card, add 1 pip of
Mhm.
armor. That's probably the main card you want to block with your armor.
Yeah, I could also block a 5 cost with like a D
A 5
react. And,
damage. Yeah, like a heat
yeah,
seeker. Is that a, a frail? Sorry, what is that?
looks like a frostbite.
That's that's a frostbite.
That's a
Okay,
frostbite.
it's a judge drawn frostbite.
Looks like it. So
Very
we are
nice.
going to see that Winter's Bite played offensively here. So we're going to see probably another 3 arrow. Sorry, a 2 arrow turn, unless he has Bolden Shot or something like that,
Yeah,
or
and it has
half
to
a
hit.
Helix.
I don't even think Pablo would let that
Oh,
hit.
he does have Bolden Shot. Interesting,
Yeah,
he's starting it off and not doing it second.
right, right. You want to do it second because you want to kind of get a sense for your opponent's blocks. If they give
Mhm.
you 2 cards in the first one, then at least they've wasted the cards they wanted to block with on that previous card,
Yep.
and they have to think a little harder about blocking the bolted shot. First attack,
Yeah.
it's easy. You
Fair.
just okay, I'll just block it out.
Oh,
So we
using
do
the
see
armor. Oh, he's using the sink here.
yeah, so that's a very good time to use it. Of course, you want to make sure you can keep at least one card with that CNC to pitch for it, because that's like your bread and butter for winning this game. Just disruption. He gave him everything, I think.
Oh, he had to pitch a red. Must have been a red hamstring shot.
Okay,
That must
interesting.
have been a red hamstring shot pitch to load Voltaire. So he had to pitch the Falcon Wing to load again with the Voltaire. That's a little bit sad. Would have been really good to Arsenal that Falcon Wing to
Yeah,
get another a 3 arrow handoff, or at least be able to set up for when you do get that Rain Razor, because then you have an automatic like 5 power arrow.
yeah. So at this point in the game, I think Pablo's basically thinking of fatiguing Lexi, right? Because we've
I
seen
think at the very beginning of the game, he was thinking of fatigue.
yeah,
Like,
that's a good point. But now more than ever, because Lexi has played so many of her power cards, that you're kind of like, okay, well, she's drawn, probably a good 10 cards out of her deck. Oh, probably more because of the Ponder tokens. So
yeah,
she's like way into her deck right now, and without really having a the potential for a power spike turn right now because no snaps, no three of a kinds, one Raiden Razor left, and we know it's near the bottom. You just gotta keep blocking, and you're pretty much gonna win the game.
yeah, it is. It is interesting. Pablo not really getting any value off his Finals Fighting Spirit. I saw I just drew another one.
Mm.
It's like this man is never lower
He's never
than
lower than Lexi. Yeah,
Lexi.
that's fine.
It's a little,
It's a contingency. If you are, you get the value, but if you're not, hey, you're happy.
I guess it's just a 2 block, just a blue 2 block.
Mm. Yeah, you can pitch
I
it.
guess you just, yeah, just pitch it to swing the hammer, but still. So, I mean, Pablo does have a sink below in hand. Not sure
Yeah.
if he's thinking about just not blocking this, or he
Hmm.
might be like thinking about how many threats Ernesto has left.
And this seems like a
Can
good card to block, right? Because this is one of the cards that can give him recurring value if he doesn't block it, and that's really what you want to avoid if you're going to fatigue him. Fatigue
Mhm.
Lexi, that is. Like, don't give her more value than she already has in her deck. So, blocking this to me seems like a no-brainer. But I don't really know what his main plan for this turn is.
Yeah, I mean, he has Codex. Ernesto has Codex in hand, right? So ideally, he's gonna load fire Codex,
Mm-hmm.
fire whatever. Like that's a searing shot. So it's gonna be a searing shot into a
Mm.
Codex, I imagine. Um,
Yeah.
I and he's gonna have one floating too off the because his searing shot costs 0, so he's gonna be able to fire a 1 cost arrow. It's gonna be a 4/4/5, so another 13. See, it's just 13 damage over and over again, and that plan usually just only works when you are
Mm.
trying to fatigue the Bravo, or just you have Remembrance and Quiver to get arrows back. But if you just keep firing 13 at him and Bravo blocks for 12 on average without a D reacts, then it's just
See,
like
that's interesting to me. So he took the 1 damage from the endless arrow, let Ernesto take the endless arrow back, and then blocked it with 2 cards coming in for 5. I'm actually kind of surprised. I figured you blocked the first one with 2 cards and then let that be it.
he has Sync too, didn't he? Or I guess he didn't.
Maybe you didn't.
Okay,
Yeah,
maybe I was just reading it wrong. But
yeah, but yeah. I mean, I don't really know why he let the first one hit. To be honest.
could have just been like expecting a bigger threat, like an actual.
Okay. So
I
keep
don't know what.
keeping your blocking cards for something a bit
Keeping
bigger.
your keeping your 6 block for like infecting shot or something like that.
Okay.
You don't want to just take damage for no reason. Like taking 4 to the face to just swing back hammer is not a great trade for Bravo,
No,
even at this point.
exactly.
So might as well just block for 3, take 1, and if he wants to fire endless, he because he didn't see another way for Ernesto to actually get another arrow in Arsenal. so he's only going to be firing with 2 arrows anyways,
Okay,
because he doesn't know he has codex.
that's a
Okay,
good
now he
point.
sees Ernesto pitched it, but like unless Pablo sees like Bolton Shot or
Hmm.
Pathing Helix or something that actually allows you to fire something for a third time,
Have a
he's
third
just
arrow. Yeah, yeah, that
yeah,
makes sense.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's like this blue Bolton Shot. It's gonna be fired for 3 go again.
doesn't even
See
get the
Winter's Bite.
dice, gets the coin.
It gets the coin here, so I guess he. She's gonna be running low of on red
Takes the
arrows
damage. So
because it doesn't do
yeah,
anything. You can't reload anyways.
exactly, because you already have a card in arsenal. Yeah. So taking the three, and then yeah. So we're gonna see, of course, Searing and Arsenal and the Pathing Helix for what's the blue one for
Blue
two. Oh no.
doesn't do anything. You can give him a card. Give him the Finals Fighting Spirit. I mean,
Well,
blocks
he
for
might
2,
be
right?
lower than 11 this turn. He might actually have enough. Oh, he had
Oh,
a
Rouse.
rouse, so
Okay,
you give
that's fine.
rouse. Yeah.
Another 4 from Searing Shot. I'll
All
probably just
right.
give him 2 cards, swing back with a Hammer Pass. Seems
Seems
pretty
legit.
straightforward.
Yep, because you can't really give him two cards and then play the Finals Fighting Spirit. Or
Yeah.
you take the damage and play Finals Fighting Spirit. Although they'd be
No,
equal health, so it won't work. He'd be at
no.
11. Yeah.
Yeah, he should just. Even then, going low to
You don't
gain a
want
life,
to.
it
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah. You don't really. Yeah, exactly. If you're already higher health, you don't want to strive to be lower to be able to gain health.
Yeah, choke slam in the arsenal. That's quite nice because then
Oh,
he
a
was
red
able to
choke slam.
create the
Yeah.
yeah, he was able to create the seismic off the Starstruck, blocking the Unity off the Starstruck, getting him a seismic surge, being
Mm.
able to. It's kind of like the one of the most underrated, probably underappreciated facts like
I
Starstruck.
almost forgot it did that.
You don't have to hit with it. It also gives you the Unity trigger, which allows you to your 4 costs just become like infinitely easier to play because you can play them off of blue, right? So choke
Yep.
slam being the big benefactor. I don't think people are really playing Mangle at the moment, but Mangle does become
Right.
meta. That's also going down to 3 off
Hmm.
of a seismic surge.
Hmm.
I think buckling blow, if people are playing that, goes to 3. Those kinds of
Yep. That was not
cards
so bad,
are
I guess. Well, yeah. Definitely not a
those are
main
the main
board
ones.
card right now.
This is actually really bad for Ernesto because he has a lightning press, and it looks like he also has a rain razors in hand. So choke
I,
slam, meaning
yeah.
both those cards do nothing.
Pablo is probably expecting that Rain Razor to come back soon, so this hitting would
Mhm.
be amazing for him. It would make sure that he can basically block out any turn Lexi has. Because, like you said,
Yes.
max you're going to see is 13 damage. Roughly 13, if you have a 5 attack arrow.
Yeah, exactly. You have a 5 attack arrow and you're firing for 3. So he's gonna take the 5. He is gonna be crushed here.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts a lot. Because that renders two cards in your hand useless right now. And it was not
ooh,
dominated. That was not a dominated.
not no, it was just a 3. But the thing is, he has lightning press doesn't
Doesn't
block, and
block. So
then
does Rain Razor.
Rain
Yeah,
Razors also doesn't block. So he
that's
has
true.
2
I think he had
non-block
to take the
cards.
damage. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
He's pitching
and
it. Okay, we'll see you again some other day.
really loves pitching that Rain Razors. So
Well, you gotta. You can't really hold on to it right now, I think.
yeah, you're just gonna choose go again. It is a blue searing shot. Looks like
Hmm.
so.
We're seeing all the blues now, which makes sense, of
Yep.
course.
What's in his hand? The lightning press, right?
It must. Yeah, he didn't pitch it, so it must be Lightning Press. He can still play it. Oh, actually, no, he can't. I'm sorry. You do not play Lightning Press here.
It's 4
Unless
cards
you
in
wanted
hand.
to go to buff for a whole lot of
Or
nothing.
not 4 cards in hand. He has 4 cards in deck. He just count. He just asked for a
Oh,
count. Ernesto has 4 cards in deck.
okay.
Um,
Yeah, I have little faith that this is gonna work out. He is keeping the Lightning Press, but Bravo
he,
has three cards. Macho Grande. Oh, he could if he wants to. He can actually play Terra Sunder on the hammer for 5 dominate. You know, um, that could be something.
I wonder why he didn't. He didn't winter spite. I say it's a moot point, but I feel like you winter spite to get him off the 3 cards. But maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think it really matters at this point,
I
to be
think
honest.
his mind is really like, how do I beat fatigue right now? And playing Winter's Bite last turn was not how you combat fatigue or fatigue. He wants to
Fatigue
get
is
one fatigue.
correct. Fatigue.
You want to definitely save it up for one big blockbuster turn, and that's his only chance. Like, I don't think he could skimp out on this turn right here.
Yeah, as far as blockbuster return, it looks like it's getting more of a late fee here because it's looking
Yeah,
done. It's looking
yeah.
extremely done. Not
I
sure what.
mean, I just take
Ernesto just
four
takes it.
here. Just take four. Yeah,
He doesn't even have, sad
there's
part. The
not
last
enough
card
to
in the deck
pummel.
is the Rain Razor. That's the saddest part. Like he's never even gonna be able to play
Uh,
that Rain Razor. It's the last card of this deck.
yeah, that hurts. Maybe knowing that you weren't gonna see it the turn after, maybe I wouldn't have pitched it. Maybe I would have kept it in Arsenal.
So he has a Codex. Okay. Is there any way he could do
Codex is
some sneaky shit?
fantastic. Searing Shot, I think, is the top card
Searing Shot.
there.
Searing Shot's the top card.
Codex. Yeah,
Codex. Yeah.
so play out the Winter's Bite. Get a card out of Bravo's hand.
Yeah.
Just got a Voltaire
Look, so
Voltaire into Codex, I guess.
he's flipping the
He showed the
crest.
he's okay.
Go
So he's
again.
getting some go again here. Although it doesn't matter that much because there was no arrow
Next turn.
already in Arsenal. So like you're
No,
gonna
it doesn't
Voltaire
matter. It's
twice.
not.
Yeah.
It's your next arrow. So
Yeah. So
it's
you give
not.
you get a
Now you
plus
can get a
one from
plus
it.
one.
I wonder
Turns
if
into a zero.
revealing it is worth that. Is revealing a
Oh, it
lightning
is.
press worth the plus
Oh,
one? Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you need to play the Winter's Bite, and you need to be able to get turn on New Horizons. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so you might as well. But giving it going to
Oh,
six is
you
still
have
something
to.
that now you
Yeah,
have.
of course. You're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you had to flip it. There's no way you get around the Arsenal shenanigans there.
Yeah, this hand is actually not even that bad because now he can like fire Falcon Wing for 4. He can lightning press it to what, or you hamstring up to 9, Falcon Wing for 4, and then Codex. It's not even
Mm-hmm.
that bad of a turn, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Not enough to win, I think, but
No, plus
it's
Pablo
probably the
just
best he could have done.
9-4. If Pablo no blocks, he can win.
Yeah, yeah, like that'll happen.
Maybe he forgot to block. I don't
Forgot,
know.
yeah,
Just
forgets to block and then dies to Horn Sting. Goes to
it goes
one
to
and
1,
dies to
dies to Horn
Horn Sting.
Instinct. No, he doesn't. He doesn't die to Horde Instinct because there's no arrow on top. It's Rain
Oh, it's
Razors.
Raid Razor. Arsenal and arrow. I mean, pitch an arrow. Oh, but it
Well,
won't work. You pick up your whole deck. There won't be a single card in the
yeah, there
deck
won't
after
be a
this.
card on top. Yeah, so there's
Yeah.
it's no zero
Hornet
chances
Sting
of
was
actual arrow.
underutilized this game. Didn't use it.
I guess it was, but there's like there are situations where it might be like okay to like have it in there if you want to like block for I mean blocking the you never gonna block the hammer, but if you're gonna just add block to a turn you're already gonna do. The
Yeah,
awkward thing is like it doesn't really help with like crippling, for example. Like if you block 3 block, and then that one block doesn't help
it
you. You
won't
need
help
like
you.
Purge
Yeah,
Grapplers.
it's
Yeah, you
only
need Purge
for
Grapplers.
spinal.
Yeah,
With
for,
Purge Grapplers, of course. You have
for
to add
Purge
it
Grapplers.
to.
Yeah.
It has to be 3
Yep.
block exactly plus your one card in hand to block for 6.
Yep. It's interesting if there's like there's other arm pieces kind of running around like poison the tips, not poison the tips, toxic tips.
Toxic tips. Yeah.
Well, I mean, poison the tips is a ranger card that you can use. It's just not equipment.
Yep.
But it is kind of interesting to see if there would have been a better arm. Like I don't think he was running. I don't think many Lexis are running other arm pieces. I have seen toxic tips. I have seen cracker jacks for the +1.
Fracture Jacks. So,
That's a card.
Tales of Aria card
Um,
that I haven't thought of in a long time.
you just play Cracker Jacks and your Bolden Shotguns go again.
Hmm.
Like that's literally what it is. But like if you have a Bolden Shot already in your arsenal,
Yeah,
you can get
yeah.
it go again
Because
without
you
like Raid
can't buff
Razors
it.
or Leaning Press.
Yeah.
Correct. It's already in the arsenal. Without a separate effect. Like
Yeah.
Lexi won't be able to do it. So it is a way to like get around things like Warmonger's diplomacy because you can
Okay.
the Cracker. Oh, is it an instant? Hold
Oh,
on.
it might be
Let
an
me double check.
action go again. Or
Oh,
reaction.
it's an action. Never. No, it's an
So
action.
you
No,
can't
you
even
do.
get
Never
yeah,
mind.
yeah.
You can't even Cracker Jacks.
That's too
That's
bad.
bad.
Sorry,
It'd
Cracker
have to be
Jacks.
it'd have to be lightning press or
Yeah.
rain razors to be able to buff it if you're under Warmonger's diplomacy. But
Yeah.
Cracker Jack's still a way to get it out. In general on the regular terms. So it looks
Yeah.
like blocking for 3, taking 1 down to 6.
That is
I
6.
guess.
He was at 13, wasn't he? Did he take
He was at 13.
7?
He took the hamstring, the face. So yeah,
Took the
he took
hamstring.
7.
I don't really know why he's taking damage. I just
Because
blocked.
it doesn't matter. Like
I
he comes in
guess,
for
but
7.
you're really playing with fire. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter.
You just block for 6 and that's it. Unless
Yep.
he has like it'd be like even if he had a no block, it would be like literally sigil. But I think he's played all sigils, or he's played at least 2 of them. I think he's played 3 of them. No, he's definitely played 3 of them.
He
at this
played all
point.
3. It was one
He
turn at
played
2 of
1,
them.
and then he played 2 with the other 2 on the other turn.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
you're right.
So
I think that
and
was
a searing shot. He has rain razors.
yeah.
He's going to flip his endless arrow
Yep.
which luckily it hit, I guess. He's going to use the tunic
Yeah.
to load in.
Searing shot with go again. Fire it. Pablo is probably aware that there is a rain razor in hand because that thing was
It was
pitched like a
funny.
billion times.
If he just like accidentally says no block, then Rain Raiders
Ooh.
just wins the game, which is hilarious.
Uh,
I mean,
yeah.
wouldn't it?
Well,
I don't think it would.
oh, it would. Yeah, it deals one extra
It would.
damage. Yeah.
Oh, he's.
Yeah. That's so funny. Mess with his mind a little bit.
Oh, it's
It's like
so
no block.
funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's
That's
troll
pretty
him.
funny. That's psychological damage. All
So
right.
let's. Okay, so I think it's pretty safe to say that Warmonger's play was just like Ernesto
Yeah.
just not knowing what the card was.
Yep.
Interesting. Like this, I. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Honestly, it is a calling. It is a long kind of event. But this is day two. You're X2. There's no way you haven't seen this card yet. Like I feel like it's
Maybe got
like
lucky.
maybe it's
No one
a
played it
Freudian
against him.
slip. It's possible, but like I feel like this event was just like the Lexi target marathon as far as like all the decks you see, like the all the Azuris and the
And I think not a single Lexi made the
Bravos.
top 8 in this event. It was just like
Not one.
4 Bravos or
Ernesto
something, or 3
was
Bravos.
one of the highest ones actually. He ended
Mm,
up going X3. I think he ended up going X3,
mm,
possibly X4. No, I think he was X3. I think he ended the day X3. So like this loss truly did kick him out of the
yeah.
top 8. But I think the Warmonger's diplomacy just like let's pretend that was like a Freudian slip. He just forgot what was in his arsenal. I, it's weird because he turned it over with such authority, so I was just kind of confused. But let's go back to the Rain Ray because I think the Rain Razor's play definitely
Sure.
kind of
I'll find it.
botched it a little bit, because we can kind of count out how much damage he could have done versus how much damage he did, and I think it's going to be a scenario where it's going to be similar damage output or like slightly higher damage output or the same, but you get to like keep your quiver and snaps or something along those
Mm,
lines. Like you'd still have resources to go off again.
yep.
You know what I mean? And that's like a big win if you're able to do it. Because if you're able to keep quiver snaps, you're essentially able to fire another arrow with go again that could break through damage with all the winter spice he was drawing. So you see all those winter spice turn when Pablo could only block with 3 cards. Like that's the turn. Like he only blocked for like 10. You could pretty easily get like 13, 14 plus damage off of another quiver. So let's go back to that one.
Okay. Okay. We're back. So let me
Okay.
play the video. So we can look at the hand maybe just to make sure that we knew. Okay. So I see Rain Razor, Lightning Press. What else we got in there?
There's 3 of a kind,
Those,
right?
and there must be a 3 of a kind plus an arrow, I think.
Yeah, there was an arrow. And then the arsenal card is Rain Razors, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll see what he draws from 3 of a kind and kind of try to sculpt his turn. So let's look at Pablo's side. This is actually a great turn to have an aggressive turn. This is Rouse in hand. So that's a 2
Rouse
block.
blocks too, but he does have the Fate Foreseen, so it kind of balances out.
True.
And I, if
Like
I do remember,
you don't want to be balanced here. You want to
no,
be
you
a,
want to have a higher than average. Yeah, okay. So
so
pitching Rain Razor here.
so he's an infecting shot.
So
That's infecting, pathing, heat seeker, winter's bite. So let's stop
okay,
here. So he had the infecting shot. I think it was a red infecting shot,
okay,
if I do recall.
yeah,
And then he drew a heat seeker, he drew
pathing
pathing, and he
Helix.
drew a winter's bite, right?
Yep,
So and he has the lightning press from before. So if he
right.
pitches the lightning press, he now has 1 less card. So let's look at it from that perspective.
Sure.
So play it a little bit more.
Yep.
So we have 5 cards. So we would not have lightning press.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
So
you'd have 2 rain razors at the moment. You wouldn't have any floating. So we have to consider all of those points
yeah,
also.
yeah. The one resource Tunic is not up, so he wouldn't have had that at his disposal. So here, this would have costed. He would have pitched his blue Winter's Bite,
He would have
ideally,
pitched his blue
right?
interest.
To be
Yes,
able
he
to.
would have
So,
definitely pitched his blue.
so 2 floating at this point.
So let's just start with the infecting shot here. So he'd fire infecting shot. That would come in for what, 9?
9.
And he'd have 2 floating. Um,
He would then have 1 floating because he would
I
fire the
honestly,
infecting.
yeah, he'd have 1 floating. I might actually just start with the heat seeker in that particular case because he had
Okay.
heat seeker, pathing helix, and infecting shot, right? So
Hmm.
I think it's easier to just start with the heat seeker because that's a big boy. That's a 9, pretty good on hit too.
And exactly, that's going to be a prime target for blocking out for sure.
So
Yeah. So he does
I
start
mean,
with the he does start with heat seeker to
he
his
does
credit.
start with heat seeker. Okay,
But it was only coming for 7 here, not 9.
correct.
Yeah. So we'll see. So
That's a blue pathing helix. Okay, it's important to note. So
it
he
was
drew
blue.
into
Okay.
Heat Seeker pathing Winter's Bite. It was a blue pathing. obviously a red heat seeker, only comes in one color.
Mm,
So his main two
yeah.
arrows here are red infecting and red
Pathing.
red
Heat seeker.
no heat seeker.
Heat
Yeah,
seeker.
red infecting and heat seeker. So he's gonna start with heat seeker.
Yeah.
So let's pretend here. So he actually only has
One
one
floating, right?
floating.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually only has one floating. Let's say he pitches the Winter's Bite.
Yeah. So he doesn't have that
Let's
anymore.
he has a blue. Let's pretend he's not firing. So he has one floating right now, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So
So
Pablo,
we see the
Pablo's pretty
7
keen. Pablo's pretty clean to block this. I don't think I think if this was 9, Pablo blocks with armor here.
armor.
Right. So
Exactly. Yeah. So let's assume that nothing's changed so far by virtue of him being able to use the armor. Now that's a big thing
yeah,
though. Not being able to use the
yeah.
armor later in the game, I think, is huge. So getting it
We could
now would have been
also
great.
we like it's also technically possible that he staunches right now and uses the armor. So he blocks with 2 and then
And
staunches for the
then
extra
adds the
7.
armor. Mm,
I don't think he would use the staunch this early though, because he might want to double pitch into it.
yeah. Okay.
So now he's gonna fire the infecting. This
Yeah.
wouldn't have changed. So instead of
Mm.
2 float, so he had
Now there would
one
be no floating after loading.
right.
So
So he
he
would have
had
to
one
pitch the blue pathing.
exactly. So you'd pitch the blue
So he would have 2
pathing.
floating.
He would have two floating exactly. Yeah.
God, mental
But
math for everybody.
but no
That's coming in
blue
for
in
9.
hand. So two floating, but nothing left in hand at this point.
Nothing left in hand. Yes. No, is that true?
I
What does he
think
have in
so.
hand? Oh no,
It's
that's
it's the
true.
blue
He
winter's
has 2
bite that he
floating.
would have pitched.
He has 2 floating.
Yeah.
That's true. He has 2 floating. So this would be for 9. So if this is for 9, Pablo still has those 2 cards, which is awkward because one of those cards is Rouse, right?
Yep. So
Okay,
only
okay. So
blocking
let's
two.
let's stop right let's stop right here. So he's got a 3 block. So it's very possible that he just blocks for 3 and then he pitches the Rouse to staunch right here.
Okay.
Blocks for 10,
Yeah.
right? Or the other way around. I think he blocks for 10.
Yeah.
I guess he could
Exactly.
Thunderquake and then
Um,
block with the Rouse and staunch, but
but he would have to give his armor to be able to fully block both attacks.
yeah, for both attacks. Yeah, he didn't have the armor at this point, assuming he used it for the Heat Seeker,
Sure.
which I'm pretty sure he would have, because Heat Seeker is just one of those
It's
cards that you just really want
yeah, and if it was something that has go again too. Well, I guess you get the
to.
end of the turn anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. But still,
Yeah.
get an extra card for the next turn after. It's huge.
So he probably would have used a staunch here. He would have pitched either. I mean, it doesn't really matter
Thunderquake.
if he pitches 2 blues and blocks staunch for 10, or pitches a Thunderquake then uses
Yeah.
staunch.
So
Either way, Pablo has no cards in hand. That's the important thing to know. He has no
yeah
armor and no cards at this point. So right here, let's stop right here.
yeah
So he had 2 floating
yeah.
in our scenario, in our
Our
rework scenario.
dreamland scenario. Yeah, well, not even dreamland. A perfectly plausible situation that could have
And he
happened.
has Codex, right?
Yeah.
So he would have played the Codex.
Hmm?
And now this is nice because any arrow hits, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if any arrow hits and you have 2 floating, you can't really pay for
The
you
blood
can't
rods.
you can't pay for the blood rod, that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't be able to pay for the blood rod. However, we were assuming he fully blocks that first infecting shot, right?
Yeah.
So it's possible he just doesn't, and he just no, I don't know if he wouldn't. I think he might have just blocked the infecting shot and be like, okay, well, this is what I have. This is the max block
Mm-hmm.
I have. So the second infecting shot, if he grabs it with the Codex, would have done 9, right?
Plus
Plus 2,
2. Yeah. I think
which
I
is
think that's what
11.
we're looking at here. So 11 potential damage that was missed by pitching the Rain Razor.
Well, no. Well, hold on. We gotta look at it properly
Gotta keep
here. So
watching. Yeah.
he's gonna. Well, he would have Codex. He would have got the infecting shot. He would have come in
So
essentially for 9 plus
yeah.
2. So he would have taken. Pablo would have taken 11. Right now, in this scenario, Pablo hasn't taken anything. Right.
Yeah.
So
And he keeps
Ernesto
his
would have
armor.
dealt. Yeah, Ernesto would have exactly. So there's another 2. So Ernesto would have done essentially 11 damage to Pablo plus another effective 2, so 13 because of the armor.
Yeah.
Right. And he would have still had his arsenal, and he would have still had his armor. He still would have had quiver, and he still would have had snaps in our scenario because he didn't need to use it.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
that's true. Maybe he
Yeah,
could have
Ernesto would
actually.
have had
Maybe
both
he could have
pieces.
still done it. Because if you still do it, let's say you take a Bolton shot, maybe, with your Codex, and you give it
You don't
go
have enough
again.
pitch. No, you don't have
Oh,
enough
you don't
pitch.
have enough
You only
pitch.
had
Oh,
you
you
only had, you
can't.
only had 2 floating. You
You're
only had
right.
2 floating.
You're right. He's missing
Yeah.
pitch for the quiver. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and you
Okay.
lose too much damage by like firing the
Yeah.
blue pathing. He loses too much damage. So it would have been
Yep.
11, 9 plus 2 from the infecting, and then another 2 from the armor.
Yeah.
So like 13 effective, right? And he would have kept his armor. And
Yeah.
Pablo still would have been able to pay for the CNC he gets off the Codex. He
That's
probably would
true.
have still grabbed CNC, right? And see
Yeah.
how much damage we would have done here. So play it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So he quivers, he gets the endless arrow.
Yeah. So now he does do some damage, which we'll have
Yes.
to factor into our total from before.
So he staunches this, I'm pretty sure.
Right. He does pitch, I think, for the
Pitch the
staunch.
rouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pitched the rouse for the staunch. And he's kind of just waiting because he knows he's gonna be able to get a card off of the Codex of Frailty, right? So
Mm,
he wants to be able to pitch for that staunch at some point before and have no
right.
cards in
He wants to
hands, right? So
benefit from the effect as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's gonna pitch for the staunch,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna see the Codex. So Pablo still hasn't taken any damage yet. He
Right.
still has
So we're
armor.
still at 13 net right now,
I
but
lied. I lied. He took 4. He did take 4 from the first infecting shot.
oh, he did.
He only
Okay.
blocked with Thunderquake, yeah, because that's why he has a Blood Rot. So he's taken 4
Gotcha.
effective 6. So he's taken 6 because of that first Blood Rot.
Okay.
He's taken 6, right?
Okay.
So now he's gonna get the second Blood Rot. So he's taken 6. This guy's gonna come in for 7. No, I think 7,
Yeah.
and he's gonna take the 7. So 6 plus 7, 13. Another Blood Rot, 15. Yeah, so 15. So
Mm-hmm.
it's 15 versus 13.
Mm-hmm.
No, like that's the difference because we got the one big infecting shot for 11 effective plus his 2 armor,
Yeah.
whereas Ernesto got more damage up front, so he got 15, which is 7 7.
Yeah.
Sorry, 4 7 2 2, which is 15. He didn't get the
Correct.
armor though. Yeah, he did 4 on the first one, 7 on the second one, and he got 2 blood rods, so it's
Right.
15. But he didn't get the armor, so it's
Yeah.
just 15. And we got 13, but Ernesto needed to use both pieces of equipment to do so.
Exactly. So he used 2 equipment pieces to be able to do 2 extra damage than we would have done, and Pablo keeps the armor. So that's the trade
I
off.
want to take Pablo's armor here though. Like that's huge, not being able to
Yeah.
block because Pablo uses the armor like quite well after the fact. So
It's
I
true.
think it's kind of what I mentioned before. The damage is very similar, but you get to keep the equipment.
Right.
You get
Right.
to keep your quiver and you get to keep your snaps. And I think both of those pieces of equipment would have helped you immensely in providing that extra. And then that followed by like 3 of a kinding the second time. I don't think was the right play. I think you might have just want to
Yeah, just hold on to it.
Arsenal the 3 of a kind, block with 2 cards. Your tunics at 3, play the 3 of a kind, and come in with a fat turn because you still have your quiver and your snaps,
Mm.
so you can easily 4 5 card him right there, right? So
Yep.
So I think that might have been a mistake there, but I think the Warmongers diplomacy really did just kind of screw him there. I think that was like the big
Yeah.
one.
I mean, in that case, I guess you pick non-attack and just be able to Lexi, right? So just so you can Lexi, because you just couldn't
Yeah,
Lexi. The card was stuck there. Anyway,
yeah. No, that was a game. Quite a intense
it
game
was a
here,
good
but
game.
if you like this kind of content, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, from wherever you're watching in the world, have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Bye for now.